ever since the Industrial Revolution, where motors and engines are greatly implemented. Humans' lives have improved and gained more prosperity. But this industrial development over time has led to harmful impacts to the environment. For example, Malaysia has been facing issues of climate change in recent decades. For example, rise in temperature, haze, and flood. Therefore, in order to determine Malaysians' awareness towards climate change and how well does Malaysians respond towards it, our group has done a survey of 28 questions to collect responses from Malaysians regarding general views about the environment and awareness about global environmental issues in order to help in mitigating this issue.
The main focus of this research design the awareness of climate change, including its problem statements, data, and methodology. We categorize our main issues based on 5 problem statements. First, what is the level of public awareness of climate change? Second, what is the main factor of climate change? Third, how does climate change affect humans in the terms of health? And does current government, industry, and business provide incentives in overcoming this issue? And last, what steps that need to be taken for further overcoming this problem for a long-term preservation? Our research method is based on these 7 steps. First, observation. Second, post-question. Third, hypothesis. Fourth, experiment. Fifth, collect and analyze data. Sixth, conclusion. 7, communicate findings. The reason behind the proposed problem statement is to reduce the vast scope of this issue. It is an alternative to tackle the main factor rather than not having a specific study range. In order to find out the outcome, we proceed with a survey-based data collection. It is distributed through social media where the respondents were varied in different aspects.
Based on the figure 4.1, 50.9% of respondents agree and strongly agree that human activities that have no significant impact on the global temperature. But based on our research, the human activities actually does cause the climate change. It is because the human activities such as deforestation and burning fossil fuel will contribute to the carbon dioxide gas emission. Next, based on the figure 4.2, half of the respondents agree that the pollution from industry is the main cause of the climate change. It is because the polluted air consists of the greenhouse gases that will trap heat from escaping. This is described as the forcing climate change. Next, based on the figure 4.3, 71.7% of respondents claims that the developing countries should take the most of the blame for the climate change. Based on the statistic, the top developing countries that have high carbon dioxide gas emission such as China, India, and Russia. The root cause of the climate change in the developing countries is the production of electricity from coal and fossil fuel. The poor technology in the developing country causes a failure in the implementation of renewable and energy-saving techniques. Next, I will explain about the effect of the climate change. Firstly, the rise in temperature globally had caused to the forest fire. For the example, in September 2019, there are a forest fire occurs in Indonesia. The burning of forests in Indonesia poses another environmental problem, which is air pollution. The air pollution is triggered globally, especially Indonesia's neighbor countries such as Malaysia and Singapore. The air pollution has affected the health of Malaysians. Based on the figure 4.5 and figure 4.6, 76.5% of respondents admit that the air pollution has affected their health and also their family health. Other than that, based on the data analysis on figure 4.7, 64.8% of respondents correspond that recent floods in this country are due to the climate change. The climate change caused the coastal erosion and the coastal flooding. For example, the coastal flooding in Johor during 2006 until 2007 with the worst in Kotingi and Segamat. The coastal flood has affected more than 100,000 victims and also caused the damage of infrastructure. Based on figure 4.8, another effect of climate change will lead to the extinction of species. It is because all animals and plants have a temperature range within which they can survive. Other than that, the forest fire that caused by the climate change also will make some animals and plants lose their habitat as the forest is destroyed.
When we talk about climate change, we should ask, are the people aware to this issue? What are the solutions to fight against the issue, if any? When we ask respondents whether they are aware of climate change, 92.5% reacted yes, with the others either don't know about the issue or they do not hear about it. Most respondents get information about climate change from media, such as television, radio, newspaper, and internet. This indicates that media plays an important role to spread awareness among people. 49.1% of respondents heard climate change from education institutions, whereby 39.6% of them hear from friends or family. Less respondents heard climate change from government agencies and environmental groups. Fewer hear from other sources. 42 respondents say, yeah, experts agree that climate change is a big problem. But when we asked them if climate change is a problem to them, half of them responded, nah, it's not a big deal. Another half addressed climate change as a problem. When asked about the importance of climate change to them from a scale of 1 to 5, more than half of them rated 4 or 5. They say climate change is an important issue to think because it affects health and the next generation. So we asked them the effects of climate change to them personally. 62.3% said yes, which they address climate change affects their lifestyle. 22.6% said they do not know. Another 15.1% thinks that climate change will not affect their life. If climate change is a problem, then what should we do? We asked respondents if there is any we can do to tackle climate change. 2 over 3 say yes, 20.8% say they do not know, and 11.3% deny the possibilities of actions to combat climate change. For those who say yes, 47.2% of them took action out of concern for climate change. 35.8% said they did not do anything, and 17% more said they do not know. 67.9% agree that turning off light bulbs can reduce climate change, which is a good thing to do for them. 81.1% think that the reduction of energy consumption greatly reduces climate change. And why not? We proceed with it. We list out all the activities which we think are to combat climate change, and we ask respondents their reasons on practicing these acts. Out of all reasons, there is one which is always the top reason, and it is to protect the environment.
In conclusion, most of the respondents from Perak State are aware of the climate change and environmental issues. This survey proved that there are 66% of respondents agree on air pollution has been the most worrying issue in our country. They are aware of the impacts of climate change in Malaysia and they are currently taking actions to solve this problem. However, the level of awareness of people towards climate change and environmental issues still need to be further improved. Based on this survey, we found that only half of the targeted respondents have good awareness about this issue. Therefore, governments as well as non-profit organizations should take action to encourage both citizens to act environmental friendly, such as carpooling and practicing the 3R concept. In order to create a better nation and living environment in the future, every action in defending the environment, regardless it is tiny or massive, has to be taken as soon as possible. Everyone, especially the younger generation nowadays, should be aware of this issue and are willing to take out the responsibility to save the climate change and the environment. We hope that through this survey, the awareness of the people will be further raised up to help save our Mother Earth and make it a better place to live.